Chocolate bars are getting smaller.
It's just all shit, innit?
Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
Yeah. Oh, and you can't park there. Yeah, all right, mate. It's a fucking one-way street in Charing Cross. What do you want me to do? Easy.
Again.
Strolling into the quarterfinals.
Because it's another win.
Another win.
First half an hour was a little bit tense.
A little bit
uncomfortable.
Just a little bit. Ooh, okay.
It was like an awkward conversation with someone. It was like, do you know what it was like? It was like when you go out and the mutual friend goes to the toilet and you're left with his mate or her mate, and you go, so what, do you like music? And they're like, no, not really. And you're like, oh, God, give me something. That was what the first 30 minutes. And then the next 60 was a bit like, oh, brilliant. He's back. The conversation can continue. That's how it felt. That's how it felt for me, anyway.
Yeah, floodgates opened. Bosh.
Yeah.
On to big game on Saturday then, isn't it?
Massive game.
And we got a big day on Saturday.
We do. We're watching it together.
Yes.
With some finger food. After our Dominoes at lunch.
Yeah. Won't go into
too
much detail, but it's a very drum and drummer heavy day on Saturday. Things in the pipeline.
Because we noticed we were going into a lull, and rather than giving up, we've gone...
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people would have done.
Yeah.
But not us.
I feel like most people would have given up a lot sooner than we have.
Yeah, or maybe they want us to give up.
Yeah.
They go, do you know what? You should just...
Yeah.
But no.
No.
We're digging deep.
We're going to do more.
We're doing more. And we've got a couple of cool things planned for Saturday. And I've got to do a little bit of work in the middle.
Yeah.
And then it just naturally leads to, we'll then just watch the football at the studio.
Yep.
Finger food. With finger food.
What are you thinking, finger food wise?
I don't know. But that's the thing, you see. We've planned a big lunch.
Wait, well, no one said big. You've said big.
Well, I think by its very nature, it's big.
Yeah. And we've got big people coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For this thing we're doing. We won't go into it.
Yeah, we won't be alone.
But, yeah, I'm the only person under 6 foot, put it that way.
Yeah.
So, we're going to... And we offered to pay for lunch.
Yes.
So,
And we can't... I mean, we could double dip.
What is
Basically, we're thinking Domino's for lunch.
Yeah.
We could double dip with a Mackey's or a Kafka for dinner. Just go all out. I mean, if we're going to lose to France, we might as well.
Yeah. And if we're going to win, it's like celebrating.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's get fat.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get plump for Christmas.
And then, start a couch to 5K in January. You know what I mean?
Couch to work and back. Yeah. But I've been walking. I've been doing a lot of walking to work.
You do walk?
Because it's not really been raining, so I've been able to get my little waddle on to work.
How far is work from yours?
2K.
2K. That's nice. That's a nice
2K
distance.
there, 2K back. It's the same distance there and back. Funny enough.
Well, this is the thing, because not to talk about walking, but I had a long walking day the other day. Oh, mama. Please stay with us if you're listening. It isn't as boring as you think it's going to be. I had to go to work. But the thing is, I live on quite a far bit out of Brighton. And so to get to work, it's about 2 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the 2-mile walk. And then I had to go somewhere else. Anyway, I ended up walking about 9 miles that day. I worked it out. And I had to go to work, which is all walking anyway. And... So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say about 11 miles, just walking around.
Yeah,
but it's good because then you can
because
have
the Christmas chocolates are incoming.
This is it.
It's the time of year for gluttony.
It is, especially because it's my birthday tomorrow.
Hey.
Or if you're listening to this, it was yesterday. If you're listening to this the day it came out, which I hope you are, whoever you are, It was yesterday. 28.
28.
Yeah.
Very close to 30.
Very close to 30. I'm not doing anything massive. I'm going to save the big party for 30, I think, if I even do one.
Are you doing anything?
I'm going out tonight to Tinto Taparia, a tapas place.
A tapas.
Tapas. Originally, it was going to be me, Alfie, Dean, and his girlfriend Ella, but Ella's got a throat infection or something. And Dean was like, "You still want me to come?" I was like, "Yeah, man. Why not?" So he's going to be. We'll try not to. The thing is, I don't like to make people feel like a third wheel though. It could very easily be a third wheel situation, you know. But I hate that. I hate when you go somewhere. Here's a random rant, and you're invited somewhere, and you're like, "Oh, you get to meet my partner." I'm like, "Oh, that'd be good," and it's like, "Why did you invite me? You're just giving all your attention to them." Forget
well, it's like when I met Elfie, you were very much the third wheel.
Yeah.
In that conversation.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it's. But I prefer that, you know. But anyway, so yeah, we're doing that tonight. But nothing beyond that, because you know, on my birthday,
it's nearly
I'm
Christmas,
working.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's nearly Christmas, and I'm working on my birthday, and it's fine. I don't care. And the day after, I've got to be at the crew job for 8 a.m, so I can't go mental on the night of my birthday. So
have you ever had a good birthday? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Are you one? Because a lot of people, some people say that when you're an adult, and I would class us as adults.
Yeah.
That.
Well, I don't know what else we are.
People who put a lot of emphasis onto their birthday, like you shouldn't be putting emphasis on your own birthday.
No. I always have more fun at other people's birthdays.
Right.
That's sort of why I feel like I want to keep it small, because I think on my 25th, I invited a lot of people. Weirdly, it happened to be a lot of people from the gym, which is weird. But it was like 18 people from the gym, and then Josh and his girlfriends, Elliot, Dean. And that was nice, because we all went out and gone wolf, and we had a drink, and it was like, but it was good because I didn't have to do anything. I just said, we're all going to be at Slug and Lettuce at 8. Come down. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's when you have to plan stuff and you make a Facebook page and you're like, is everyone coming? And then people start cancelling, and then you're like, it's like if you've booked a table somewhere, you know?
It's the rejection.
Yeah, it's the rejection. So that's why
and the stress of, especially if a table needs booking.
Yeah, exactly.
That number changes.
Yeah. So, no, there was a really good one when I was 19. We all went out clubbing, and it was one of those sort of unexpectedly good nights. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. Next year, when it was my 20th, we tried to redo that night. Got the same people, went to the same club, and it wasn't very good because that wasn't what made it good, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of nights out, shall I delve in with... I had a bit of a mental week last week.
Someone's been partying.
Accidentally, right? So let me run you through this, because I don't really... I mean, I don't drink much, but I definitely don't drink 3 days in a row, ever. So went a bit mental. So Thursday, did my annual Christmas shopping with Dean, which is always... I don't know how it started, but it's become a thing now. We both go Christmas shopping. We go, you know, we're blokes. We're bloody blokes. We can't do it. So let's tag a mate in and see if we can do it together.
Let's be calamitous together.
Yeah.
Let's disappoint our partners together.
Exactly. So we did a bit, and then we ended up, I think we were in Boots, and Dean was like, I can't do this anymore. Should we?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, me neither. Because the thing is, you're looking around at all the gifts, and I don't know if gifts have got shit, or it's just I'm looking at them more now, but you look at so many, like 90% of the things, and it's like, that would be fun for 20 minutes on Christmas Day, and then you'll never use it again. Do you know what I mean? There was something
tat.
Yeah, tat.
Just
something
pointless tat.
Toilet darts. And what you do is the dartboard hangs on the sink or whatever, or something in front of the toilet, and you sit there and you play darts. Well, no one, you might use it once as a joke on Christmas Day and then never use it again. Yeah. So after a while, we were like, well, go on, you're going to say something.
No, I agree.
So about 4, we were like, well, we should go to the pub, because I think this is a write-off. So we went to the pub, and we were still at the pub at like 9, and I was like, oh, God, bloody hell, drunk, you know. So,
such a lad.
Yeah, well, this is it. So, got a curry that night.
Oh, nice. Where? Where?
Well, there's this takeaway. There's a place in Brighton called Bindy's, which is kind of like a classic. It's been there since forever.
I really like those slightly impromptu days.
Mm.
Where you're just like, fuck it, should we get a curry?
Yeah, yeah.
See what I mean? And you're like, yeah.
Well, if you like that, get ready for the next day. So the next day,
are you drunk? Let's stay on day one.
Well, it was weird because I'd had
drunk,
4.
or is it just?
I'd had 4 pints of Guinness, and 3 is usually my limit, but 4 is like I go to another realm.
But I think Guinness doesn't hit you as hard as like
a
pint of lager.
Yeah,
a lager. You know.
I don't know why either. I mean, it might
just
be
like milkshake, isn't it?
Well, it is.
4 big milkshakes.
It's like a pie. It's like a big meaty pie.
A big milky pie.
But
that's
so
the title
next
sorted.
So the next day, Dean was supporting a band. This is very Dean heavy.
Oh, you and Dean. Dean.
So he was like, "We'll move to Brighton then, Ben. We could go out." No, he was like, "Oh, I'm supporting this band called The Heavy Heavy. I'll put you on the guest list if you want to come." I was like, "Yeah, man, that sounds good." I'd sort of heard of them, and I hadn't seen his band yet, so I was like, "Okay, I'll come down." So, and I was also like, I've also got to drop a vintage package off license, so I'll drop that. I'll go and watch him do a support slot. He's on at like 8, and then I'll go home because I haven't had dinner. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I'll be home by 9. Have some sausage and mash, or I don't know. Who knows? Didn't know what I had in. So watched the support. Dean's band. They were great, really good. And then
what are they called?
Barbara, really good band. We'll get onto that in a bit. And so after that, I was like chatting with Dean. I was like, well, I should probably watch the main band. You know,
sure.
Why not? So watched them. And after the gig, I was chatting with Dean and Dean's drummer, Laurie Miller, who I met for the first time. Great drummer. And his brother, Chris Miller, who's the guitarist in You Me at 6. And we were just chatting. And Laurie was like, I'm going to go home. And Dean was like, well, Ella's mum, Ella is Dean's girlfriend, is singing at Zone Bar, which is this gay bar in Brighton, which we've been to a lot. So we went there, and Dean was chatting to Ella, his girlfriend. So now I'm in this gay bar with Chris from You Me at 6. And I know of them to a point, but I just remember, you know, they were always on the music channels growing up. You know, but
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and so we were just chatting. But it was hilarious because it was like we were chatting about normal stuff. You know, he was talking about his flat he has in Brighton with his girlfriend, and he was saying, oh, it's been nice to move out because I was doing a house share before. And I was like, oh, well, I'm in a similar situation. And then we ended up talking about the council tax of Brighton. I was like, and then we flipped from that to like, oh, by the way, I'm doing a UK arena tour next year. You know, him, not me.
Oh, yeah.
And
obviously,
obviously not me. And, but he was like, do you want a drink? I was like, wow. Go on then. So I had a Guinness, and because I wasn't going to drink.
You and me?
Yeah.
6.
You Me at 6 pints.
Good.
So anyway, so then after that, we went back to Patton's where Dean was playing originally, when that was a DJ set on. So, and everyone all of a sudden got drunk, and Dean was more with his girlfriend than, you know, than us. And so it just ended up being me and Chris, and turns out he's a big fan of Alan Partridge. So we just quoting Alan Partridge in Patton's, listening to his DJ set at like 1 a.m. and going, we're too old for this, aren't we? Like, he's 33, I'm 28 now, basically. And there's all these kids. I mean, they're 18, but they're kids, they're children on the dance floor. And, just shouting Partridge quotes and Patton's at 1 a.m. I was going, I was hoping to be home at 9, you know, and I'm having
for a
dinner.
bit of sausage and mash.
Yeah. And
or whatever you had in. But
yeah. Exactly. And now I'm with Chris from You Me at 6. So it was a fun old night.
So that's just day 2.
That's day 2. So the next night, I had to rein it in a bit because it was Elfie's.
You were out with the bassist from Paramore.
It was Elfie's tattoo shop drinks, and she was like, we're all having a meal at the Lion and Lobster, but after that we're going out. You can join us then. And what am I going to do for 3 hours? I wasn't invited to the meal. And so I turned up when they'd finished their meal, and everyone's pissed, like beyond pissed, And it's
those
just
work stews
yeah.
are different breeds, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Let me tell you, I went to some Sony parties. Christ alive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way I could do that now.
No.
But you go hard.
Well, so this is what's interesting, because I turned up at, I want to say 10, and everyone was off their bladdowed. And I was sober, and I was like, this is weird, and you're the sober one, and everyone's drunk. But then it got worse. We went to have you ever been to one of those? I feel like are they a new thing? I don't know, like a karaoke room.
Yeah.
Have you been to one of them before?
In London, yeah.
Yeah. We went to one of them, and it was great when I was chatting to people, because at a party I like chatting to people. That's what I like. I don't like singing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So karaoke room is the way, and especially because it was
fucking
like
hope you did sing.
I did. I bet you look good on the dance floor.
Of course
obviously.
you did.
With a guy called Andy, who is basically me in 20 years. And but everyone's singing Teenage Dirtbag, and I was like, it just feels like a wedding. This feels like work now. But at like 1 or something, and I had to be up for work the next day at 9. And at about 1 a.m, I was like, this party is not petering down. It's petering up, if anything. So I was like, Elfie, I'm going to have to go. She's like, all right, I'll give you my keys, and then you can go. And then just let me in, when I get back. She got back at 7 a.m.
Fucking hell.
And so, because I got back at about 5, I woke up randomly, and I texted her, like, are you alive, And, apparently they stayed at the karaoke place for a while, and then all went back to the tattoo studio and just chatted till 7 a.m, and she came back, and I was like, right. She was like, she's trying to tell me stuff, and she's got in, she's like, oh, Andy's a racist, you won't believe. I'm like, I don't care, I've got to be up in 2 hours, But I was glad I left at 1, because that would have been awful if I was, no, I'll stay till the end, stay till 7.
Sometimes that courage of conviction
to
leave. So my mate Emmett, he has this thing, when he's done with a night out, he just goes.
Does he not say bye to anyone?
No.
I kind of respect that.
Yeah.
It kind of seems a bit rude, but also because
he's done, he's off, and you'll just see him walking out, and he puts his hand up.
That's all right.
And it's the Emmett goodbye.
Yeah.
And he's just off, and you're like, oh, but you think, because if when you start to say goodbye to people, you're there for another half hour.
Yeah, exactly.
At least.
Exactly. Yeah.
But just go.
Just go. Yeah.
Because as well, if you go, I'm off now, people, don't go, don't go.
Yeah.
But nah, just fucking leave.
This is it. And that was it. I said bye to Elfie, but all the other people who I'm sort of becoming mates with, the tattoo artists, I was like, I can't bother to say, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did feel sorry, but there was a guy there, one of the tattoo artist's boyfriend, sorry. He was a sober man. He doesn't drink. And he was all right. When we all met at the Lion and Lobster, he was chatting and stuff. But put him in that karaoke room.
Did you have food at the Lion and Lobster?
I didn't.
Did they have food?
They had food, and apparently it was
What did they
bad.
have? Lion or lobster?
They had a roast, but it all got fucked up, and it was late. And then in the end, they said, "Nah, not going to have dessert." I think this is a serious thing at the moment. It's because we went for a roast the other week, and it took about 2 hours to come out. And I think it's just like there's no staff anymore. They can't do it. There's no staff in hospitality. But anyway, I'll just say one more thing. Yeah, this guy who was sober, he seemed sprightly to begin with, and then I just looked at him in this karaoke room, and he was like, I need to go home. I'm not. It's such a difference when you haven't even had a drink. I was like, it must be, quite liberating to a point to be a sober person. But then when you end up in a room where everyone's pissed, you must be like, this isn't fun, But
Like a lobster in a room full of lions.
Good.
We used to go to when I worked at SingStar, which is a karaoke game.
Yeah.
We used to go. There was a karaoke bar in Soho,
Love that.
so we'd go. Usually like a work do,
Yeah.
And it was odd. So we were playing karaoke, but not SingStar, but we worked on SingStar. So we all understood.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was good.
Were you looking at the graphics going, I could have done that better?
Well, obviously, like, karaoke is different to what SingStar did, where
Yeah.
SingStar used the original music and video and we transcribed the main vocals, so you had something to score against, whereas normal karaoke's just lyrics on the screen, innit?
Yeah. Well, I told you, didn't
cheap
I?
MIDI recreation of the song.
This is it. I was at a party about a year ago, and they were like, "Oh, let's get the SingStar out," and I was like, classic, you know. I was like, Ben's a part of this somehow. But somehow. I can't remember what you did, you know. So the second night out, I was watching this drummer, Laurie Miller, who hopefully will be on the show soon. Maybe next week. Don't know. If this doesn't work, we'll cut this bit out. But he was great. Phenomenal player. And it's something we haven't discussed before. Watching other drummers at gigs. Because
I watched you the other week.
You did? Yeah. And you get to learn a lot. You know what I mean? If they're great, you can go, that was cool. I'll try and be a bit more like that. If they're not very good, you can go, I'll try not to do that. But yeah, it was just funny. He was someone that was just a joy to watch. It was just so like smooth, you know, and just relaxed and sort of he didn't get the feeling like at any point he didn't know where he was or what he was doing. It's just like clean drumming, you know. But what do you get from watching another drummer?
I think tends to be, in general, just inspiration. Yeah, because you see stuff and you'll be like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Or even just in a general, like, oh, yeah, playing is good. Like, and you're like, oh, I think I do tend to have a feeling of like, oh, I wish I was on stage.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But crush that down and put it aside.
Yeah.
And go like, I don't know. Yeah, you have to try and not be too analytical.
Yeah.
Being in the biz.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I'm not really someone who gets involved in the listening. Like I said last time, watching you, it's like I'd like to just stand at the side and watch.
Yeah.
You know, observe and see what the people are doing.
Yeah.
Rather than get involved in the mosh pit or that, what they call the dance floor. Nah, keep me out of that. Yeah, so I think just a bit of inspiration. You're like, oh yeah, they've done something there, or that's quite cool, or they've got their kit set up maybe a slightly different way, or how they're playing. You know, what did you get from it?
I don't know. It was because this guy Laurie, I know he shares a studio with Pat Garvey, and I spoke to him after the gig, and I mentioned that, you know, I was like, oh, I see your kit once every 2 weeks, you know, I have lessons. And he was like, oh, you know, and I sort of said to him, I was like, I'm guessing you had lessons just because of the way he played. I was like, he's learnt the stuff that I'm learning, and, you know, other people that have studied with him have learnt. And he was like, yeah. He was like, I had lessons for a few years, and it's like I still work on all that stuff. And it was just, I don't know, I was just watching his technique and all that, and it looked right, you know what I mean? Just the way his hands, you know, moved. And it was just interesting talking to him about drums. This is another thing, I'll say this before going back to watching people. I don't know if it's just with drummers or whether guitarists have this the same, but I always feel like whenever you meet a drummer somewhere and you tell them you're a drummer, or they tell you, and they're serious about it, you know, rather than, all right, mate, yeah, I'm a drummer, I've got your kit. You know, if it's someone that's like, you know, a bit more serious, you just instantly become mates, you know what I mean? Within a second of me explaining like, oh, we're working on this technique, it was like, oh, we're now friends, you know? I was like that about seeing a drummer at a gig. But actually watching him, yeah, it's just brilliant. But, you know, I played a gig the other night. I won't say who it was, but some of the stuff they were doing was just a bit sloppy and a bit all over the place. And that can also be good as a drummer, to go, well, I won't do that, you know, because that's mental. What are you doing, you know? But I think anything, you can always just learn stuff. And I always find I'm drawn to the drummer, you know, whoever's playing, whoever's in the band or whatever, I'll just be staring at the drummer. And I feel like non-drummers say that as well, you know, just because the drummer is often the most exciting person to watch, because it's
a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. It's all limbs, and it's exciting. But
I really enjoy watching your bass player actually at the
he's
Joiners.
good, isn't he? Mikey.
It's just cool.
Yeah.
Like the look.
Yeah.
The stance.
Yeah.
Just cool moves.
He's really good. He's
nothing look forced.
I think that's the thing as well, because sometimes people have like certain moves that they pull out, or like they'll use a certain face, or they'll do something that you're like, I know you've rehearsed that. Whereas him, he's like, yeah, when he's going for it, he's just going, he's not thinking.
Well, some people are just cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it, innit?
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know?
Oh, I'd say you're cool.
You know. But,
yeah.
you know.
No, I know what you mean. Like Super Hands is cool.
It's just cool, yeah.
It's just cool. Like,
yeah.
It's just it.
That's it, yeah.
If I put a snake round my neck and went to a party, it wouldn't be cool. You know, they'd be like, what are you doing? Why have you got that? But Super Hands turns up, a fictional character from a Channel 4 sitcom. It's cool, you know. Yeah. And Mikey, he just has it.
Cool.
Just cool. I'll say one other thing about watching a drummer live that I always like is when you see something go wrong, and you can tell it's gone wrong, and the drummer will sort of look at the bassist or something, but no one else notices. I always like that as a musician, you know, seeing like, I don't know, people working stuff out when you see like, okay, they've gone to a section too early, or the singer's doing something weird, or the solo's gone on too long, and the drummer and bassist will sort of, I don't know, I like watching people, when it goes wrong, get through it, if that makes sense. Because that's a skill in itself. That's something we haven't talked about. You know, it's like...
I sometimes think, like, because, watching you at the Joiners, I could tell, there was a couple of moments where I know you're on click.
Yeah.
There's a couple of moments where you just had to bring the hi-hat in. Or
yeah.
To be like, it's getting off the click, I got to come in and just steady the shit. Yeah. And I could tell that's what was happening. I could tell why you did it. Yeah. Why you're just doing hi-hat. What's going on. Yeah. You know, because I know behind the curtain. I peeked behind the curtain. And I just think, what's it like to, have no knowledge of, to just purely be someone who likes music, but has no music ability or no interest in learning or knowing that, and they just go and see it, and it's just pure. I don't know. They take what they see, and they don't see those little bits. They don't. No. And I had to be kind of conscious of was just not eyeballing you. I didn't want to just eyeball you for the whole. And it's not a. I'm watching what you're doing, but it's just that's an enjoyment I get out of it. Is watching what the drummer's doing. Yeah. Whether it's you or someone else, or watching what Mikey was doing, in stage presence, and what Ren was doing, and what the guitarist was doing. Like, how are you doing this? What you're presenting something to me, and I want to see how you present it. Yeah. And then you get to see all those little things. But just people who go and just have no idea. Well, just take it at face value. It must be lovely.
It must be. The way I think about it, I remember I saw a band once outside a pub, not even in a pub, in the middle of the day, and they were playing like Johnny Be Good or some Elvis tune or something, and the drummer had like a kick, snare and a ride, and then the guitarist had the worst amp I've ever seen, and the singer mic kept feeding back. Like, it was, the sound was awful, and their playing was like not great, but they're playing these, Elvis tunes, and people randomly were just dancing, going mental. And I was thinking about it, and not in any way a cocky way. I thought, all the function bands I played in, you know, first of all, the gear is real gear. You know, it's like it's proper guitars and proper amps and a proper PA. And I thought like musicianship is so much better. And I just thought like whenever you have a gig in your wedding band and you feel like, oh, I don't feel like we played that well, it's still so much higher than what people expect, if that makes sense. And like a way I can think to describe it is the other night at this party, the tattoo artists, they're all talking about each other's tattoos and going, oh my god, she uses a 9mm needle instead of a 5 and she still gets these lines, you know, talking about Elfie's work. And I was like, I don't know what any of that means, but I know it looks good, you know what I mean? And I think maybe it's like that. It's like they don't know the people that like music but don't understand how to play any of it. It's like they just, if they like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. You know, it's the same as what we're talking about with recording, you know, recording bands. And it's like, it doesn't matter how you get to the end product. If it sounds good, it sounds good, you know. And it's like, you'll listen to a record and go like, oh, this has been, that drum's been triggered and that's been that and all that. But people that don't know just listen. And it's probably the same with live, you know. Yeah. They're not knowing that I'm bringing the hi-hat in.
Well, I've had it with like, you know, mixing something and then playing it to a friend.
Yeah.
And to be like, this is what I've been up to, this is what I'm doing, and I've put like everything into it. And I'm playing it because, you know, I want to show them what I've done and what I do. And their first reaction is, oh, I don't like the singer.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, well, I can't do anything about that. That's not really why I'm playing it to you, but I can't take away your opinion.
Yeah.
And it's the thing, and it's like, oh yeah, you're listening to it for a completely different reason than I'm listening to it. Because I'm going, oh, the kick drum and the snare and how I've blended, you know, and how that's all been pieced together and the amount of time and effort it's taken to get there. And you're purely just hearing it as a song.
Yeah, yeah.
And with no worry or need to worry about the detail of the mix itself. You're just going, oh, I like that song.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that song.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the singer's voice.
Yeah.
And you're like,
well, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've never thought about that. Going back to the live thing, everyone has a different interpretation of what makes the gig good. So that gig I did the other week at Key West, Connor Griffiths came up to me afterwards and was like, mate, snare sounded amazing. That was really cool. That's a drummer talking. And then Ben Corner came up to me and was like, snare sounded great, but they put too much hi-hat into the mix, so it was too hi-hatty. That's him talking as someone that, you know, thinks about those things. And then I met someone random who's not a musician, or, you know, and they're just like, hey, that was great. That was so cool with all the lights and stuff. You know, it's just like, it's like everyone has a different...
Note to self, more lights.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's genuinely why it's a good idea to sort of, I don't know. You got to think, let's try and... That's probably why I try and hit it hard and flail about, just because I'm like, well, not everyone here is a drummer, you know, or like, you know, try and do something that makes it a show. Because I think there's a place for everything, you know. It's like Neil Peart was famously very deadpan as a drummer, but the stuff he was playing was so good, it didn't matter that there was like, to put it bluntly, it wasn't as much of a show from him, but what he was doing was great. Whereas then there's other drummers who aren't as good a player, but it's really exciting to watch them, you know. So but everyone gets, don't know, different thing. I think when I watch a gig, I'm just staring at the drummer, you know. It's almost like no one else is on stage, you know. Just like, oh, especially when I saw that super group with Dave Grohl. You got Dave Grohl on stage. I don't think I looked at anyone else, you know. So it's it's interesting watching other drummers.
Have you put your tree up?
We went through this. Put it up before December. Have you put yours up?
Yes.
Yeah?
I have, yeah.
You got anything beyond the tree? Any decks? Any tinsel on the hamster cage?
No, nothing else. Just everything's Lego, innit? And you might just, a rogue bit of tinsel, tug on that. Bosh, there goes the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Shattered into 1,000 pieces. No, but I put the tree up. And I've got a little advent calendar.
Dairy milk?
Maltesers.
Oh, hello.
So, you know.
Nice. Is it?
But-
Well, actually, yeah. Let's discuss Christmas now because why not? What's your plan for Christmas?
Probably mum and dad, innit?
Yeah, big time.
You know,
Just you three?
I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably go up to Oxford, see the brother.
Mm.
So, last year, you might remember, we couldn't get the cheese wrapped in bacon. Cheese
Yeah,
and
I do
blankets.
remember that. Yeah.
I believe now after a bit of digging, official confirmation that Marks and Spencers have just stopped doing them.
Ah,
They just don't do them anymore.
Sake.
So I've tasked Dan again with creating our own.
Who's Dan?
Anne.
Oh, Anne. Sorry, if we said Dan. Fucking hell. Creating your own. Yep.
So I think it's that thing of at least we know
Yeah.
they're unobtainable now. You know,
Yeah.
they've stopped doing them.
Seems mental though. 'Cause
I think it's a fucking disgrace.
Well, they used to sell like hotcakes, didn't they?
I mean, they're fucking brilliant. and it's just another thing that's wrong with this bloody country.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Amen. Chocolate bars are getting smaller.
It's just all shit, innit?
It is shit. Or am I getting bigger? I don't know. I think I'll be here for this Christmas. It'll be nice actually because last Christmas I was in France. Year before it was a bit weird because it was the tier system. Remember that? And it was like,
Yeah.
and Brighton was a good tier because there wasn't much COVID, but Emsworth was a terrible one. But so I was gonna originally spend Christmas on my own, but then my mum was like, "We'll come and get you." She's never picked me up in Brighton before. "We'll come and get you. We'll take you back. It's all right. We haven't seen anyone. You haven't seen anyone." But this year, yeah, I think it'll just be the four of us, which will be nice. But I'm looking forward to Christmas this year.
Yeah?
Yeah, usually I'm a bit like, got to do this again, have we? But I think for whatever reason, don't know, feel like I'm doing a lot of work leading up to Christmas. You know, I'm like, right, work as much as I can until it's Christmas Day, and then chill out, baby. Just chill out. You know?
And that week off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've just finished a fairly big studio project. I'm very nearly at the end of one, which has just taken me months, which is good. And I've got a few things. Yeah, I've got a few sessions in the diary up to the 22nd.
Nice.
Recording wise. No gigs. And the only reason I'm gutted about that is because I don't get to play
Christmas
Mariah
songs.
Carey,
Yeah.
because that's my favourite one to play on the drums.
I can't remember even playing that one.
Well, we'd never do it in Decade or
No.
Victoriana. I've only ever done it with like Depping for like Magic Tones, or
Yeah.
like we did like the residency at Old Thorns. We'd do it there if I was filling in on that. And I'm partly tempted to just play it anyway and film it and put it on the,
why
the
not?
Drum and Drummer socials.
Why not?
You
We
know?
could do what we could do is I could play bass or something, and then film myself playing it, and then do like how they did it in COVID Zoom band. But yeah, Slade is always the classic one. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of like I'd love it if bands did the Darkness one. It's far trickier, but quite impressive.
That's the
Yeah.
trouble, isn't it? When you just got to do it for one,
Yeah,
for just a couple of gigs.
yeah,
It's like, just do Slade, innit?
Yeah.
Especially with a band with no piano and a male singer,
yeah, exactly.
you know. Love it.
Nice. I've got
Um,
one on the worst fucking day ever, December the 16th, which is a Friday. Like, I think it's like last day of term or something. Either way, it's a Friday before Christmas. And it's in London, central London.
Ooh,
couldn't
those are
be-
the worst.
Couldn't be more central. And load-in's at 5. So I'm almost tempted to try and get there even earlier and just avoid all traffic. But I'm already dreading it because I'm like, that's going to be the worst bit. Friday
I've done so many of them.
into London.
Central
In
London.
the winter as well.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
when
dark when you get
dark.
there.
Yeah, because it's near.
And-
It's basically the shortest day of the year. You know.
You can't park
No.
easily in the double yellows, and then finding it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And like, oh, if you just want to bring it all in and then take it up the lift to the 7th floor, what?
Yeah.
Oh, and you can't park there. Yeah, all right, mate. It's a fucking one-way street in Charing Cross. What do you want me to do? I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well,
someone tell me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got much stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking band, mate.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, is that it? Or you got more? All I've got in my hands is a snare. I'm not the little drummer boy. I am a little drummer boy. Anyway, that'll do, won't it?
That'll do, mate, I reckon. Have a lovely birthday.
Yeah, cheers.
Enjoy your tapas.
Yeah, I will. What's your favourite thing at tapas?
Meatballs.
Yeah, fair play. That's a good one, actually.
Meatballs and sauce. I like cheesy croquettes, or whatever they are. You know, mozzarella sticks or...
Have we been to the same sort of tapas? I'm thinking patatas bravas.
Yeah.
The green things. You know, the green peppers. Do you ever get them?
Yep. You get like, you know... Yeah, must get... I've had like croquettes.
I think
like
I know
a tomato sauce.
Croquettes.
Like
Is that
potato cylinders in breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Patatas bravas.
Yeah. I'll use the English name.
Well, I was going to say...
In this country...
Meatballs and chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like chorizo.
Chorizo, yeah. Do you ever get churros at the end? Do you like churros?
Yeah.
Do you like... Right, here's my thing. End with this. I don't like hot batter. So I don't like donuts at a fair that have just been cooked.
Okay.
I love a cold donut, you know. But hot churros... when it's sort of still like melty inside, do you know what I mean? Or hot donuts. I don't like it for whatever reason. It's too...
I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's too something. I don't know. But end with that. Please do email in. Do you like hot donuts or not?
Yeah. What's your favourite donut?
Yeah.
What is your favourite donut? Because
what, as in like topping or...
Well, think about it. Think about it. Now we're on to the real quiz.
Think.
You got your filled donuts.
Yeah.
Your jam, your custard. Apple is an abomination.
Yeah.
We're not even counting
Get that out.
You got your ring donuts.
Mm.
And you got your 10 for £1 at the fair.
Yeah.
Little hot donuts.
Yeah.
So, you know, what's your favourite?
In that order?
Well, just...
Filled, ring, hot. There you go. That's top to bottom. Because there's so much potential with filled, especially if you go to Greg's or something and you get like a chocolate filled donut. Or there's one that it's like, I don't even know if it's cream inside. It's delicious. But it's mental. They do a caramel custard donut. That is divine, you know. Jam is the classic. And ring's good, but you know.
Yeah. I like a ring donut with the pink icing and sprinkles.
Yeah, like Homer.
Yep. And I prefer custard filled donuts
to
these
jam.
Days. I say I was a jam when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Custard now.
And now you're
and
on
I think the
donuts.
best, you know, the bag
pigs.
of 5.
Yeah.
I think the best bag of 5 you can get supermarket branded is Morrison's.
Yeah, 100%. Morrison's
they're the best
is
5 bagger.
Morrison's is fairly shit,
term.
but their bakery section is surprisingly... That's how I got so fat. Working at your studio and going, oh, I'll pop to Morrison's, you know.
I mean, a lot of bread. There was a lot of bready...
Yeah. I pretty much
goodness.
just ate bread, you know, every day. And I went, well, I've got to get something from the bakery, you know. I'm here till midnight. And then, yeah, that was it. Just chaos every day. It was a lot of bread.
That's the trick. Well, that goes back to the start of the episode. You know, the festive period is one for eating.
Yeah.
Got to be careful, though, innit?
Yeah.
You know, because
that's
why I'm trying to walk to work.
This is it.
Just to counteract the advent calendar, the sweets.
Because
I've already wormed my way through a box of celebrations.
Did you? My family never did this, but I go around mates' houses or whatever who would have like leading up to Christmas just a table, the living room table, just covered in, you know, boxes of chocolates and cheddars, nuts, you know, all sorts, just endless bags of stuff. And it's so bad because you feel like you haven't really eaten anything. Where you're like, oh, I've only had like a few chocolates and handfuls of
just
nuts.
Shoved in 1,500 calories worth of baked goods.
Exactly. without even, and then dinner, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, that's your downfall. Not your downfall. People's downfall, you know.
Have a good birthday, mate.
Cheers.
Enjoy the tapas. And I need to get some stuff ready for our day on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm going to iron the suits. I'll leave it there.
What are they doing?
Sweet.
All right.
See you next week, boy. Happy birthday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.